Greetings, wise ones, and welcome back to the 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐅𝐥𝐨𝐰 channel. I'm Melissa of 𝐓𝐡𝐞, author, psychotherapist, business astrologer, and your go-to expert for harnessing feminine energy in stellar planning in life and business. On this channel, we help you access the power of applied astrology, timing, and energy management techniques through my stellar planning and lunar wisdom formula processes, unlocking an unfair advantage in life and business specifically for female entrepreneurs, executives, and professionals. Today's video is the first in my series on the astrology of burnout, focused on how your birth chart reveals your specific burnout pattern and stress tendencies and can help you resolve them. So, stay tuned for the rest of the video to learn more and give it a thumbs up so that it can be shared with more wise ones via the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more applied business astrology tips and techniques that help you access your personalized life and business instruction manual, keeping you in your soft girl era and free from burnout. So, wise ones, let's talk about burnout, a really big issue for modern women, especially leaders and business owners. Because your birth chart holds the instructions for everything that you need to live your best life, we're going to take a look at the key burnout indicators indicated in your birth chart. Note that planetary houses, signs, and planets hold the key to why you may feel constantly exhausted, overworked, or struggling to set boundaries. And I record this as someone who has rehabbed herself from what was initially diagnosed as adrenal fatigue and has currently been updated to POTS, or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So I have a lot of insight, not only as an astrologer and psychotherapist, but as a woman running a business, dealing with burnout and healing from it through using my chart. First up, we need to talk about Mars overload, aka workaholic syndrome. Mars in the 6th house of daily work, or the 10th house of career, can signal someone who is always pushing and always on, and someone who struggles to slow down. Mars in hard aspect to Saturn or Pluto shows pushing past physical limits. And a hard aspect would look more like an opposition or a square in astrology speak. Now, let's talk about the burnout houses. The 6th house of work, daily work, and health. I know a lot about this because I have a 4-planet pileup in the 6th house. If you have heavy planets here, like a stellium, or heavy planets, aka Saturn, Pluto, or Mars, in traditional astrology known as the malefics, but generally speaking, the planets that only give after a trial, work can dominate your life at the expense of well-being. If the ruler of your 6th house is in retrograde, aka backwards motion, you may ignore your body's messages to engage in self-care or struggle with inconsistent energy. 10th house, the house of career and public success. Those with strong Capricorn or Virgo energy, hand raised for strong Virgo energy, 4 planets in that, can show someone highly ambitious but prone to self-sacrifice. For instance, in addition to looking at the 10th house, the border of the 10th house is the midheaven. So 10th house placements or aspects to the midheaven also can indicate a burnout signature. If you have Neptune aspects to your midheaven, you may struggle with work-life boundaries and burn out from overgiving. And then there's the 12th house, the house of hidden burnout, secrets, isolation, and my favorite, self-undoing. If your sun, moon, or Mars is in the 12th house, you may feel misunderstood, in addition to have a propensity for ignoring exhaustion until you completely crash. Remember that the 12th house also rules retreat and solitude. So your body will force you to rest through sickness or burnout if you do not slow down. Remember, wise ones, you need to know your rising sign in order to get the most accurate information possible. I'm a Scorpio sun, but I have a Gemini rising. That sets up my star map and allows me to analyze this information in my chart. It's the most personal aspect of your astrology that we have. Now that we've identified the houses that indicate burnout, let's talk about one of the major players in energy management and managing burnout, which is Saturn, and the role of boundaries in helping us overcome this trap. Saturn in your chart equals your burnout threshold. Saturn rules boundaries and limits. If you have Saturn in the 6th house or Saturn in Virgo, hand raised here, mine is in the 4th house, but in Virgo, you may feel like work is endless and that resting equals failure. For years, when I worked in the professional realm in corporate and private spaces, I always worked myself to the bone until I became sick. I did not feel like I had time to rest. Having Saturn in Virgo, Jupiter in Virgo, North Node in Virgo means I have a very strong overworking signature that must be balanced. If Saturn is in hard aspect to Mars, the planet of energy, you push yourself too hard, but you feel like you're never doing enough. If Saturn is in retrograde, you may struggle with setting boundaries and saying no. Remember, retrograde planets turn their energy or their influence inward. It wasn't until I observed truly and understood that my Saturn placement in my 4th going into 5th house, depending upon system, meant that I needed more creativity in my life and work, and I would experience less burnout if I worked from home, because that's where I'm anchored. How to use Saturn to set healthy work rhythms? Well, I just described my own process by analyzing the heavy overworking signature and then using the house that my planet was in to indicate that perhaps I needed to make an environmental shift. 4th house is the house of home, but it's also the house of the environment and ruled by the moon. So when I did that, I was able to address some of the underlying issues that kept me in a constant burnout, always sick with infections or other issues for close to 10 years. Other ways to address that look like honoring your Saturn transits. If Saturn, which usually takes 2.5 to 3 years to move through the zodiac, is moving through your 6th or your 12th house, know that your body demands structured rest, and this is a non-negotiable, or you will pay the piper. Also, you want to track Saturn's cycles. It hits peaks about every 7 years. So you want to identify where you should scale back workload and prioritize wellness according to what house and or area of your chart Saturn is currently in. Now let's talk about how to prevent burnout using astrology. I want you to know that you can use your birth chart to create a better work-life balance strategy. And I use the word balance loosely because in a Western context, work-life balance means give me everything you have at work and then figure out how to fit your life in afterwards. And sometimes you do have to work harder, and sometimes it's lighter. However, it is important that we recognize that we are the person who does the work. So prioritizing our internal wellness has to be the first thing, such that we can then think about how will balance work when life is good. The moon is a key planet in supporting us in doing this work. Lunar cycles for energy management is a key tenet to the lunar wisdom formula. So you want to work with your moon sign because your moon placement tells you what will restore you. But looking at phases of the moon alone, know that the full moon is peak energy, a time when everyone may feel drained, but it is best for launching big projects and planning immediate rest. Subsequently, the waning phase and the dark moon are inherently created for rest, wind down, recovery, ideal for reflection, pulling back, and taking stock. After all, the moon is our mother as women and feminine energy identifying beings. Then you want to track your personal planetary transits. If Mars, the planet of energy and drive, is moving through your 6th or 10th house, expect high energy, but risk of burnout. So schedule regular intervals of recovery time. Also look to Saturn returns. These events are very rare. They happen at 28 to 30-year intervals. So you're promised one between 28 and 30 and one between 58 and 60. However, these periods absolutely demand a focus on balance. And burnout during a Saturn return can be one of the major life lessons that introduce you into more of the adult ego state, as Saturn returns are tied to that. But to leave us with some practical tips to avoid burnout, I want you to think about doing the following. Plan rest days around the waning moon cycle. Honor Saturn's boundaries. Learn to say no, which is a complete sentence, and to delegate more. And make sure to check your chart for upcoming stressful transits and prepare a landing pad to soften any blows. If you want to learn how to go deeper in working with aspects of energy management, first stop is working with the moon. So join my free Moon mini course for women's success to start planning work and rest cycles using astrology. And if you want to master your energy flow and burnout recovery, then my Feminine Flow Masterclass is perfect for you, as it teaches you how to align your career with natural rest cycles in a sustainable, ongoing way. And you need rest, but for the success part, we need to be able to plan our business and work with the natural cycles. You can go deeper and get support in doing that by joining the 2025 Stellar Business Blueprint Solution, which is your personalized roadmap to astrology-based work and life balance alongside extreme success. Because life and business do come with an instruction manual. It's written in the stars. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with other wise ones who could benefit from the power of astrology in business to avoid burning out. And subscribe and turn on notifications for more astrology and business tips that help you avoid burnout and work in alignment with your natural rhythms. Next in this series is a video exploring your moon sign and how it reveals your emotional wellness needs and unique self-care blueprint. So stay tuned for that, wise one, and blessed be. Check out the 2025 Stellar Blueprints, which are online workshops for life and business to access your personal life or business instruction manual, complete with the cheat codes for success in the new year.
Check out my new Etsy store called Stellar Planning Tools to get some of my newest products to support you in applying stellar planning, the lunar wisdom formula, lunar self-care, and to expand your manifesting practice. My new series, The Wise Woman's Mindset and Self-Care Guides, are being offered exclusively on Etsy. These guides were created to assist you in living with more ease, grace, and with a process to make lasting change in your life. Check them out. Link is in the description below.
Discover the keys to your life's path and purpose by reading the stars with a free personal astrology report sample from 8th House Wisdom. From obstacles to opportunities, these reports teach you what you need to know to thrive. Try out any of these 8 types of astrology reports, 2 multi-package reports, and 1 tarot reading in the 8th House Wisdom Astro Report store before you buy them. They're available for immediate download and specific to you, your life, and your unique birth information. Crystals are a fantastic tool to harmonize and ground your energy. Use my coupon code 8th House Wisdom for 11% off high quality, ethically sourced crystals. Click the link in the description below to shop today.